Did somebody say slop? And today we're really kicking it up a notch with the slop content by going through a news post. That's right, there is nothing more slop-filled than being too lazy to read the news yourself, so you go ahead and listen to someone else summarize it up for you. But welcome to götterdämmerung. I can't remember how to say this damn thing. It's German. We're gonna call it Otterdam. Probably the most exciting Hearts of Iron 4 DLC I've actually been hyped for, just looking at all the features and what it had. And the really cool thing is it actually comes out November 14th. So whilst everyone was complaining about Trials of Allegiance and there being no content in it, this is what the actual main developers have been working on. So I'm going to go through this and I'm going to look through both the newsletter here, the expansions, what they say in the video, and also the screenshots, because it shows a little bit more that we haven't seen yet. So in the newsletter, it already says that there will be a lot of development diaries over the next 6 weeks. And if you look at the schedule, you can already see a few spoilers. So obviously we kind of already could kind of guess where the DLC was going. They laid out that little teaser a while back, and well, I already knew what it was. I got told a while back, but so yeah, the big chunk of this DLC and update will be in Central Europe. As you can kind of tell, we're getting Austria, Hungary, Belgium, Congo, which is kind of weird. Germany, obviously, the kind of main part of this, and Belgium itself. Now, I'm not too sure if they'll sneak in any updates for anyone else in the area. When we got the Swedish and the Northern DLC, they did actually add in Iceland, and obviously not tell anyone about it, so you never know if that's all we'll be getting. And it ain't like we ain't been asking for a damn Germany rework for the longest time. Its focus tree is definitely dated, has been needing a touch-up for a long time, and it's not just the focus tree that's getting touched up for them. There's whole new systems getting added too. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. There is some stuff we will see in the screenshots I'll show in a second, but first off, let's just get through this news post and see everything they're adding. So first off, we have special projects. That's right, it's your big special point project that I'm going to print out and stick on the fridge, Timmy. Go on. I mean, Germany, World War II, wonder weapons. It all comes together. Now, how successful a lot of these wonder weapons really turn out to be is definitely not very successful for the most part. And when we're talking about wonder weapons, if you're not too familiar, there are a few in the game already for Germany, like the rocket interceptor. They also have their rockets in general, like the V1 and the V2, which they were pretty successful in their own regard, but probably more successful at getting NASA to the moon than anything. There are also some not so successful, like the German land cruiser P1000 Rat, which was a giant tank that, yes, I can now tell you will be in the game. In fact, if we actually go ahead and just skip through the actual trailer here, they do show the Rat. There it is. Look at that bad boy. Absolutely useless. That thing's huge. I mean, just in the complete sheer size of it compared to, I think that's a Tiger 2 right there. I'm not too familiar with my German tanks half the damn time. I'm sure a War Thunder player will correct me there, but just look at the damn size of it. No wonder it didn't really get anywhere off the paper. And considering like the hilariously debuffs that you get with super heavy tanks in the game already, I can only imagine that this thing is not going to be worth your time, but it will be funny for a challenge video, am I right? If we actually go to the store page and then go look at these screenshots, there it is actually on the map. The thing takes up the entire tile. It's huge. But we can also have a little glimpse of how the special projects will actually work. So over in your research menu, you now have your research slots and your experimental facilities, and as you can see, they have available projects that I'm assuming will come up over time. Too sure how any of this works right now. You can kind of decipher it a bit from the information on screen, but yeah, as you can see, it looks like you assign somebody over here and they give themselves breakthrough percentage. So Karl Heinrich over here is providing 0.08 breakthrough progress and 4% technology research bonus for land warfare. So that is a less than 1% chance right there to make a breakthrough. Werner von Braun, though, obviously famous if you are familiar with his game, he is making quite the breakthrough, providing 0.12% breakthrough progress and 6% research bonus for aerodynamics and avionics, which is pretty good. That is a nice bonus to get. I mean, you really don't know the cost of what all this is going to take just yet. I'm assuming there will be a cost to running these really expensive projects that'll probably set you back in some ways, but maybe if you get lucky, it could change the course of the war. But yeah, pretty cool so far. It looks like we've got 2 facilities there, so we only have the air and the land one. And you can look over here for the air breakthroughs you can get. You've got the V1, a medium-range ballistic missile, the Wasserfall project, and a rocket interceptor. You can also see that cheeky scroll reel there. There's not a lot more information we can garner from the image. Just looking at it right there, there is a new symbol over there, which means I think the actual facility does have to be on the map potentially. But yeah, other than that, it doesn't look like we have too much new on the map right now, but we can see on the UI up here, we do have a few more blips. We have a plane, some sort of physics one, paratrops, and naval. I'm not too sure what this means, but it might be new alerts or something like that. But yeah, overall, it does look really cool. I like the concept a lot, and if we have, just from what we can look at right there, 7 naval projects, 7 air projects, and 3 land projects with a whole bunch of breakthroughs right there. I'm not too sure what the breakthroughs means and if it equates stuff we've already broken through to, but it looks like there could be quite a few new technologies, or probably reworked technologies, considering the rocket stuff is already in here. But yeah, it's very interesting. I'm kind of worried, you know, if any of this is going to be useful, but at the same time, I'm sure it'll be fun to go through. Okay, yeah, but if we go back down here, I was talking about military raids. So we have our special projects, and now you have a new little thing to stop them. So I think this is what you're going to be doing mostly to stop secret projects from actually getting anywhere. I'm not too sure if this will be useful in single player as much as it will be in multiplayer if you want to stop someone getting that technology. But essentially, you can now launch raids to actually target the facilities we were talking about that I'm assuming now have map placement to stop them, or at least sabotage them enough to, you know, stop the technology happening or any breakthroughs. It does list a couple interesting ones here, like the secrecy around the Manhattan Project and the Dam Busters, which is interesting, because I'm not too sure if these will simply work into the espionage system or be their whole thing, like, on its own. It does kind of say right there that it kind of nudges me in the way that this won't be too important, like you could ignore it, but the military raids feature aims to add more narrative to your conflict while remaining an inherently strategic tool in your arsenal. Target experimental facilities, important military installations, and more with high risk, high reward planned operation across multiple disciplines. We've aimed to have as much integration as possible here with special projects. Raids will be one of your main counterplays to an opponent scheming to develop their own redacted, which of course I think this is definitely going to be more of a multiplayer focused thing. I don't know how great the AI is going to be, you know, building secret weapons like the nuclear bomb. I mean, I do play until like 1950 most times, so this could come into use quite a bit, but again, we don't know exactly how effective these things are going to be just yet. Yeah, but like it said right there, special projects and military raids kind of integrated into each other, one big feature, and it does look really good. I like it a lot. I like the historical flavor, but I'm not too sure off the top of my head how useful it will all be, but I'll definitely be looking at it in depth real soon. Now we actually get down into the new focus tree. So it does say everything off the bat for what they're revealing. I don't know, like I said, if they're going to add anything else to anyone else, but obviously we get Germany. Germany will be receiving a totally revised historical national focus tree and a host of new alternative historical paths. So I'm not too sure if that really says they're going to go ahead and rework the current path that they have for their alternative route, which is the Kaiser path. It doesn't really seem like it. They might tweak it a little bit, but it just says a host of new and having a totally revised historical national focus, which, you know, I'll look at the screenshots. We might be able to decipher something there, but we'll also see a lot of this later anyway. But we will be getting new alternative routes, which will definitely be very fun. I know a lot of people for the longest time have been looking for a communist tree for Germany because, you know, it was a possibility, probably not in the time period of Hoi 4, but just before Hoi 4, during, obviously, just after and the formation of Weimar, which it could work. You know, it's probably more, well, probably not more palatable than the Kaiser returning at that point in history, but it's as possible as the Second Russian Civil War, where the, you know, the damn Tsar comes back. And we'll go into further detail about exactly what's coming here, but we've put a high premium on retaining the core feeling that Germany's old tree gave the player, since that they are the protagonists in the events leading up to the war, that the conflict revolves around their actions, which I think is the most important thing. Although it is very weird that they use the term protagonist. I mean, I get what they're saying. Germany should be the central player in the World War II game, but, you know, the word protagonist, whatever, you know. I'm just getting, like, Mr. Schmittler, like, anime themes in my head right now. But, yeah, that is a really good sign, because Germany's streak kind of, I don't know what the word specifically is, but it retained and gave the pace for the game. It revolved around them completely and what they did for the entire game to unfold, at least in historical. Obviously, if you were going to go ahead and do anything, you could change the path and become more of an antagonist to their protagonist ways, as they have put it. But for the most part, if you were playing a historical game, you would be relying on Germany to get things going, which is exactly how I want it to stay. You know, which is very good. For the most part, Germany needs to keep the pace of the game, which means their focus tree has to stay in line with the historical precedent, so they need to declare war in 1939, obviously, so you can't have a whole bunch of 70-day focuses there, Paradox, because obviously that will be dumb. But I think for the most part, what they've said there, it does make sense. They seem to understand that Germany needs to go ahead and have a really good feeling to it, a really good pace to get everything that they need to do, like Sudetenland, Austria, obviously the full annexation of the Czechs, and then Danzig or war. But yeah, the German focus tree for the most part, I'm not too worried about. I think for the most part, we should be fine there looking at what they've done to majors past by blood alone. So I think Germany's going to be really good. Now, these ones, not 100% sure about. So we have Austria, which for the most part, I'm not too sure if you'll even see, like, obviously, because they're going to get annexed by the Germans. Resist the oncoming storm, cast off the shackles of enforced military impotence, and retool your nation around your chosen identity. Forge a new history for Austria, free of German control, standing as a beacon of resistance or reclaiming your fractured empire. So obviously, if we go ahead and look at the screenshots, we can already see this Austrian tree. I'll look at the German one last because there are some other features I want to point out. Unfortunately, we don't have too high of a resolution here, but you can see for the most part what Austria can do. I already see the EU flag down there. And for the paths we have here, we have a communist branch over there, what looks like some sort of either neutrality or democratic system, and then we have monarchist over here with the Danubian Federation slap dab in the middle of the the democratic and the monarchist. Now obviously Austria does have precedents for reforming the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but it does look like they are mostly going for the Austrian side, because obviously the Hungarians will be already having the Austro-Hungarian Empire, so it'd be kind of weird for two nations to go for it. We also have a path kind of obscured over here that looks like working with the Germans. We have a few little things that are interesting, like the heritage of an empire and bringing Hungary back into the fold. It's pretty certain for the most part, though, that obviously you're going to be reforming the empire. I'm just not too sure under what gauge, because we obviously have Reclaim Habsburg over here, but, you know, I think for the most part, it looks like you're going to be doing the Austrian Empire, which is what it was before they gave the Hungarian rights. So that's all pretty cool. It looks like there's going to be quite a lot to do as the Austrians, at least, but obviously this is going to require you to play them, and they don't have too much of a lifespan in the game, usually. Oh, so we do have Proclaim the Austrian Empire there, and I'm sure you guys can probably spot a whole bunch of other interesting stuff here. Obviously, if you want to go look more in depth, just go look at the Steam page currently. You can go through all these screenshots yourself and use your little eyes on those little tips. But yeah, just looking at it, it doesn't look like it'll be too difficult for you to actually survive Anschluss. It looks like it comes pretty quickly. Seek support from the guarantors over there, so I'm imagining that you can pretty much survive Anschluss, no problem. It doesn't look like Germany's going to be going in on you. Even on the right side over here, we have a focus hidden, then clamp down on the DNSAP, which was the naughty boy party in Austria, and then we have support Italy as Ethiopia, approach the democratic guarantors again, and also reach out to Italy. So it looks like you're just going to be guaranteed and you can kind of skip out on being destroyed by the Germans. Of course, that could all be different, and I'm assuming that some paths you may actually have to fight, or potentially you can just avert it every time. But yep, that's all we're going to look at for the Austrian one for now. Let's go ahead and move on, because like I said, we have the revised Hungarian focus tree, a completely overhauled Hungarian focus tree with a detailed historical revision and a completely unique perspective on reforging the Austro-Hungarian Empire, independent of Austrian content. And honestly, just looking at this right now, it's kind of funny because, you know, Hungary's tree for the most part was pretty lacking on stuff to do, and this one doesn't look too in-depth. It's kind of a mid-range focus tree, but look at their communist path now. It's pretty huge. And by huge, I mean it has more than like 7, 8 focuses altogether. So yeah, it's pretty huge. It does look like they have obviously kept some of the stuff from the focus tree already and reworked it and expanded on it, which I think is the best thing possible, because this looks like it has a lot of stuff in it. And you know, you don't have to have a giant focus tree for a nation to be good, but Hungary's focus tree wasn't very good. But yeah, they're very tactical in what they do show here. We can't see anything crazy. Honestly, they're just teasing a lot of this, so we can see the Hungarian communist path, we can see the regency, which I'm assuming is the historical path as well, for the most part. And then just off screen, I imagine, is our Austro-Hungarian. We can see going against the regency there on the right, but it also looks like it has a branching path to the left, where I'm assuming that might be, because we can elect a few kings right here, but I'm assuming, you know, Mr. von Habsburg is currently over there, defining his chin. But yeah, Hungarian focus tree looks pretty cool. I don't think they show anything for the Belgian tree, which is resist or welcome German supremacy, draw on the natural wealth of the Congo, and build potential for an African government in exile. Alternatively, play as the Belgian Congo and either support the war effort or throw off your old masters. And cool, that's not all. With any release, there's a host of items that will appear, some small, some bigger, and notably some pretty nice improvements to the way the AI will play on a tactical level and planning. That sounds pretty interesting to me. I'm not too sure what that means yet, but we'll have to see. But yeah, all of that looks pretty good. There's a few other things I want to look at. I just want to go through the screenshots currently. Look, there's that German railway cannon that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head, but he's only got a little PP, not a long PP. We have a nuke dropped on New York. One thing that I haven't read off, but they will be changing the effectiveness of nuclear weapons, and exactly what that means we don't know just yet, but apparently they will be changed and have more of an effect. And last of the screenshots I want to show is what looks like the new German focus tree with a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Most notably, in the focus tree menu here, we actually have new things here like the inner circle, I'm assuming, where we can go ahead and put our advisors or, you know, people in control of stuff. I don't really know what that's going to entail, or if it can just allow you to get into other parts of the focus tree or stuff like that. I really don't know. It's weird for it to be in the focus tree menu, so I'm assuming that it will play into actually needing these guys to have some relevance, or who's in your inner circle to actually do focus trees, or else I'm not too sure why it would be here. We also have over here some new little blips. We've got the Wehrmacht, Luftwaffe, Kriegsmarine, economy, politics, historical, politics, opposition. I'm not really sure if these are just filters for stuff, or I don't know. I really don't know what that might be. We can go ahead and look at the right though and see that there is a whole section for the inner politics and your inner circle. What looks like, for the most part, we've got the ascension of certain famous members of, you know, this party that I can't say on YouTube. We've got a little bit of the Wonder Weapon stuff over here with the Wonder Waffe, and it looks like you can get, at the end, depending on which path you go, loyalty to the Führer or a strong successor, so someone else could become in control. So it looks like they are really adding quite a lot to this, and this is a whole new system, which we don't know too yet. I'm assuming we'll get to see that pretty soon though in one of these dev diaries, so I'm excited to see what this is all about. Now everything else, it looks like we get ourselves a new economy tree over here. At the end we get Total Krieg as well, so total war. That's interesting, just like the Germans waited way too long to declare that. We can see the strengthen the Kriegsmarine over here. It looks like it's pretty standard for the most part. We get Plan Z over there, which means it could be expanded and not just be a useless decision that ticks over now, which is very interesting if you could really build up a big navy in time for Germany. Yeah, it also doesn't look like it is mutually exclusive anymore, because obviously Plan Z was in effect pretty much up until World War II, and even into World War II. They were still planning on making a giant navy until they just gave up and started using submarines everywhere. And then we have panzer ships over here as well. Very cool, very interesting. We get unrestricted convoy raiding, and then at the bottom, some German word that I can barely even tell, it's that blurry. Now, all the way on the right, we also have what looks like a part of the historical tree, potentially. It doesn't look like it's military, but there are some things in there we can see, like innovative warfare. We also have Schraft battalions there, so we get penal battalions. I'm sure they probably just work exactly like the Soviet ones, probably nothing crazy. I don't know if you're really going to have to retire on the prisoners. And it doesn't look like there's too much else we can really see. We've got prepare for the next blockade there, which used to be in the German Kaiser tree, I believe. And then that's it. That's all I can really see that looks interesting. Obviously, we're going at the information we can kind of see. It's all a little teaser spoiler. It'll all come to fruition soon in the dev diaries, which, you know, they don't show everything in those, but we will see it when we get our little hands on it. Now, that's not everything they have announced. There are some things that they've announced past that, like the Graveyard of Empires and the Prototype Vehicles Unit Pack. Can't wait for that. So obviously we have the Huntsvine 4 Expansion Pass 1 over here, which will encompass all these DLCs right here that you can get, and it is currently it's not currently, you just save 20% of the price. Oh, by the way, I have an affiliate link. If you click it down below, I actually get 12% of the Steam sale. That's pretty cool, right? You support the channel, you get a Steam key for all these DLCs, and I'm sure you were going to buy it anyway, right? Give me $3. But yeah, if you go ahead and you click the link down below, and if you're gonna pre-order because you're crazy or whatever, you can go ahead and help me out, and you save 20%. Boom. Please click the link down below. Not sponsored, by the way. Paradox, this is a new thing Paradox are doing. But yeah, if we go down to the Graveyard of Empires right here, it looks like it's going to be a country pack in the same style of Trial of Allegiance, but for some historical flavor for nations, including Indian Raj, Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I mean, it's kind of in the name, but it is really cool that they will be fixing the Raj and India in general, because they have a terrible focus tree and they could be so damn interesting. Same goes for Iran. Iran had a lot of historical presidents, and Iraq, who actually rose up against the British and tried to join the Germans. It didn't go too well. So that is looking pretty good too. I'm sure people will probably complain about another country pack, but I think it is a good region for a country pack rather than South America, in my opinion. It is a region that was historically relevant and does need a touch-up. I'm not too sure what the prototype vehicles thing is all about, but deploy rare and unusual vehicles with the unit pack for Huntsvine 4. This pack will include dozens of art models and full vehicle prototypes from World War II. So it is just a cosmetic, essentially, but I'm probably going to get it anyway because I'll get this from Paradox for free, I hope. Please, Paradox! But yeah, it does all look like a strong expansion pass. Like, it is $31 for all that DLC. I think individually the pricing is not bad. There is one thing I wanted to show off with it, which I will do in a second. Okay, so it's not actually for sale individually yet. At least it doesn't say it is. So you can buy the expansion pass all together, and it doesn't actually have any individual pricing, at least not yet. So I think you might have to wait for that. It's just the pre-order for the whole thing, but I don't know what the price is going to be. Yeah, not too sure. I can't see the individual pricing there. I'm assuming you're going to have to wait until release, or it might say it, on their website where you can look at it individually, which, I will do in a second. Yeah, I checked their website. You can't actually buy them individually yet. You can only buy the expansion pass. So if you want to go ahead, pre-order it, use my link down below. You'll get a Steam key for it. You just have to buy off their website, and that'll help the channel. Boom. please help. I mean, you can also buy all the other DLC off their website too if you don't want to buy this. But yeah, but if you don't have to do it, don't worry. We'll just move on to whatever I was going to talk about next. Okay, one thing I did see is you get rid of the Valkyries too in here somewhere, which is there you go, right there. That is in the pack 2. And if we go down there, it says, enjoy the booming brass and percussion of one of opera's most famous songs. Part of your purchase of the expansion pass, One Heart's Spine 4 first performed in blah 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 has become synonymous with dramatic action and terror from the skies. Now you might be wondering why I'm harping on about this, and that's because Ride of the Valkyries is famous for one scene in particular, including helicopters. So it does make me think that one of these special projects could be helicopters. Helicopters were used in World War II, believe it or not. There were a couple developed. So, you know, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, right? Or maybe I'm overblowing this and expecting too much nuance here, but you never know. It could be something like that, and it could be a little spoiler for something to come. But yeah, overall, from what I can see, I do like the concept of a lot of this. It does seem very interesting and an area that definitely required a bit more attention. But yeah, the only other things we can really garner is from the little trailer that they put together where we can see Imperial Germany doing a little bit of a rally, you know, pat on the back like we did a good job, guys. Yeah, here we can see some paradrops into London, you know, giving some Anno Londo vibes actually. Now I'm looking at it from this angle. And then we've got some V2 rockets, you know, just all these special projects. We've got a massive Zeppelin right there as well. That's interesting if you will actually be able to build Zeppelins, you know, they don't just explode in the sky. And it ends off with what looks like a German nuclear bomb getting dropped on a city. Very, very interesting indeed. I am looking forward to this DLC. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and the White House going up in flames, leave a like and then click my affiliate link down below and buy the DLC. But yeah, very cool. We also have that, what is it? It's like a fighter bomber. I can't remember. It's one of those weird German weapons. Like it's the Horton something. I can't remember off the top of my head. All looks very cool though. Definitely really looking forward to all this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. I know this is an area that needed flavor in the game, and I guess if you enjoyed me talking about the developer stuff and this is a good slop and you learned something, let me know down below, because boy oh boy, I am excited. I just really hope I'm not going to be disappointed. But yeah, I guess that's it for now. Let me know what you have spotted down below if you've noticed anything weird in the screenshots or anything. Or let me know just what you think in general. But until next time, slop!